Hey, all right. So, from what I understand, you want to make a character that can move around and rolls like a ball. He's kind of this BB8 character, and you want to just be able to move him around and have the ball react appropriately. I think the easiest way to handle this is going to be with physics. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how I kind of accomplished this. And you can take this and run with it in any way you want. So first thing that I did was I went into this ball, okay, and I just double click on it, and I'm just going to go into the unit flow, all right. And here you can look at the unit flow, and I just set it up really simply, okay. The first thing that I did was I created an actor for it. So to do that, you're just going to go right click, create physics actor, right. And then for the body, I just set it to a sphere for the type. And I set its mass to 100 kilograms just so that it reacts a little more realistically. You could probably go lower than that. I just did 100 to start with, and it worked out pretty well for me. And you want your actor template to be dynamic. That's the really important part, okay? So once that's done, all you're really going to be doing is pushing the actor around, okay? So that's what these controls do. Really simple stuff here, nothing too complicated. So to push the actor, you're going to go right click, and you're going to go physics, actor, and you're going to go push actor. See that right there? And that'll give you this guy. And all I did was, just because I wanted the push to be equal on all of them, so I gave them all an equal mass. So if you look at this is plugging into the mass. So for here I just did a numeric data, so I went data, numeric data, right? And then I just put the number 5 in. You can increase this if you want it to be more reactive or decrease it to be less reactive. You can also futz around with the velocity, but I felt it was easier to just work with the mass, and that's what I did. All right, so we're giving it a push, and in each vector, so basically on W, I'm giving it 0.25 in one direction, and then 0, 0. And then for S, when I press the S key, I'm going to go negative 0.2500, so that's X, Y, and Z. That's what those 3 values indicate. And for the D, I did basically the exact same thing as I did for these guys. I just moved it over to the Y value, so I've got 0, negative 0.25 for the D, and 0. And for the A, I've got 0, 0.25, and 0, okay? And all this is doing is just saying which actor do I want to use, and since there's only one, it's grabbing the body actor. I did have to type that in, so you just click it and you'll just type in body, or whatever your actor name is, that's what you're going to type in there. And that was really it, okay? So that's the basics for the physics of the character itself, okay? And I'm just going to go save. And I'll show you how I did the head for the unit, okay? So, because that has to be, controlled where it's basically following my character around. So all I did was I placed it in the level, and I took care of that in level flow. Now level flow is a little bit more complicated because I wanted a camera that followed the character. So all I did was on level loaded, I set it to my active camera. So to do that, if you look here, I've got a camera. So I just created, and I went into camera, and I created a camera, and I pointed it at the guy, and that was really it. So all this is doing is it's saying, okay, which camera do I want to use? Well, I want to use the level camera, right? So that's it. And to do that, if you select your level camera, so select the camera, go to level flow, right click, create level unit, right? Then that'll grab my camera and just paste it right in there for me so it's easy to grab. And then I'm just, plugging that into my set active camera, which is found under cameras, right? So camera, set active camera, see, right there. Okay, so then on the update, because I wanted to follow the camera around, right? Like I want to follow the guy around, right? So what I did was, and I don't know if this is exactly the case that you want to do, but it's close enough, and you can make it work from here. I'm just giving you the tools to make your character do what you want. And from here you can play and figure out what you want to do. So I'm grabbing the level unit, the BB8 droid, which is the base of the guy, right? So I just selected that, went level flow, right click, create level unit, there it is, bam, right? So there he is. And then I plug that into the get unit local position, and then I break that local position down into components, right? So that's under math, so it's under math, vector, vector components and vector from components. So those are the two you're going to need, right? This is vector from components, this is vector components, right? So what this does is it breaks it down into 3 numerics. So now we can do math to it, right? So all I wanted to do is offset from the position of this guy, the camera, right? So I have the level unit, I have the position of that unit, and then what I'm doing is I'm just, doing some simple math. I'm minusing 2 from the position of whatever this is at the moment. So this is just basically doing an offset, and you can play with that and figure out what the numbers you want are. How I figured it out was I moved my camera to where I wanted it, and then just subtracted that from 0, 0, 0, which is where the center of the world was. So that was easy. So if my camera was, -2, like for me, my camera was -2, 3.5, and 3, right? So 3 on the z-axis, 3.5 on the y-axis, and -2 on the x-axis. So I knew where my camera was, and I knew that this ball was going to be created in the center of the world, so that's 0, 0, 0. So all I had to do is look at my camera position and know that that's where it's going to be, and I'm set to go. So like we can actually demonstrate that. I did move the camera since, but I'll show it to you anyway. So if I go here and go, -2, -2, what were the other numbers? 3.5, 3.5, and 3. Yep, 3. So there we have it. And that's basically looking at my ball, so that when it drops, it's set to go. All right, so that's it. That's really it. I'm sorry, this is 3. Okay, there you go. So that's where the camera's position is going to be, and it's just going to follow the ball. So that's that. I'm sorry if that didn't make the most sense, but just try to understand what's going on here. I'll do it one more time. We have the level unit, right? We're getting the position of that unit. We're breaking that position down into 3 components, and then we're just doing some simple additions to offset the camera's position. Then we're going to recombine those into a vector, right, with this vector from components, which again is under math. So it's under math, components, vector, vector from components, right? And then we're just going to plug that vector into the position of the camera, right? So then we're just doing set camera local position, and we're just going to run the unit into here. So this is the camera unit that we're saying is going to be our active camera, and we're just setting that position every single update, okay? So that's that. And then exactly the same thing we're going to do for the head of the guy, right? This is really just exactly the same thing. Okay, all we're doing is we're doing it to a different unit. We're not doing it to the camera, we're doing it to the head of the character, so that it's always positioned where we want it. And this one's actually a little bit easier because we know we want the X and the Y to always be the same. Really all we had to do is offset its height so that it was in the correct location. So again, all we're doing is getting the unit actor, right? So we're actually, we don't even need this stuff. I'm sorry, this was something I was testing. We don't need that at all. So we're going, getting the unit, right, the body of the droid. Then we're going to get the position of that body of that droid. We're breaking down the components. We're going to factor most of those, well, the X and the Y, we're just going to push right into the new vector from components. But we want to raise it up a little bit. Actually, in this case, it wasn't exactly centered, so I had to lower it down. Otherwise, it was too high. So all I'm doing is I'm adjusting the Z-axis so that it is the right height, and then I'm refactoring that back into the position. And the unit of the, so this is set unit local position, and I'm just grabbing the unit's head and saying I want to set the head to this position, right, which is, a little bit, adjusted on the Z-axis of the main unit. Okay, so that's really it, and this is what I ended up getting out of it. I'm just going to do a little quick play. I'm just going to save, and I'm going to do a quick play, and now you'll see that wherever I roll my unit, the ball follows automatically due to physics. Okay, so no need to do animation. Don't make it complicated. Just do it simple, and this should do everything you want. Okay, and even if you bump into the wall, since you're going to want physics for the wall, it'll bump into the wall. And it'll actually even adjust the physics of the roll based off of that as well. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, that's basically it. So if you want to adjust velocities and such, you're just going to go back into your droid. And we're just going to go to the body. I'm sorry, we're going to go to unit flow, and we're just going to adjust this value up a little bit. So we're going to go, I don't know, 10 or maybe even 20, and that should give us a bit more push power. Because basically the way this kind of works is the push actor is basically saying, how fast do you want me to push it? But more importantly, how much is the mass that's hitting it with, right? So there's two parts of that equation. There's the mass of something that hits it, so this is going to be your acceleration rate, kind of. You can think of this almost as acceleration, because the higher this number, the faster it's going to accelerate. And this is the total amount of speed that you're adding to it. So velocity is just speed. This is how much of a force you're pushing it with, right? Like the heavier the force, the faster it's going to get to that speed, right? So just think of it that way. So yeah, so we just increased that, and we're going to save it, and let's give a quick play, and we should find that our character moves up to speed a little quicker. Yep, see? And now he's a little more reactive. And that's basically it, all right? So hopefully this helps you through your problem. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I am heading to GDC on Friday, so I'm not probably going to have much time to take care of anything else. But if I see it and I can respond while I'm there, I will. Otherwise, when I get back, I will make sure I check your post again. All right? I really hope this helps you out. Again, just let me know, and I'll do what I can to respond to your needs. All right? Thank you so much, buddy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.